I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
Welcome back to Focus Today. I don't think our next guest needs any introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyway because she's a sweetheart, and that is Megan Barth, Megan Reagan Baby Barth, we call her, and she heads up ReaganBaby.com, one of the great websites, and you got to go there and just take in all she has to offer. And there she is, bright-eyed and ready to go. Hi.
Hi, good morning, Carrie. Thank you so much for the intro, and I'm launching a new version of my website probably later today. It'll be more interactive, more dynamic, and it will feature your videos as well.
Good for you. Well, congratulations. I know those are hard work.
They are. You know, it originally started out as just a writing website, but because I'm doing a lot of different media, I decided to change.
Okay, good. We've got a little bit of video. We have her? There, we don't? Okay, we'll get her here in just a second. That shows you how confusing some of these things are. We too are redoing our website here at the Dove, and it's pretty challenging to do all of that. So anyway, I think we got her back. You there? There you are. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So last night was the Grammy. Now I was so tied up with all of the flood going on in Yuba City and up around Oroville and Marysville. I didn't watch anything about the Grammys last night, but there is this dress that's all over the internet. What'd you think?
Yeah, Miss Villa, Joy Villa, you know, Serrano, I think it's Adrian Serrano, a Philippine immigrant who won a fashion awards show with Heidi Klum years ago. He designed her dress, and he is a Trump supporter, and he is obviously an immigrant, and she's biracial. And I thought it just took a lot of guts for him, as well as her, to come forward and express their support for our president. Since she's worn that dress, of course, the tolerant, progressive left has inundated her Twitter feed with death threats.
Whoa. Whoa. All right, so where is this resistance going, Megan? Where is this pushback going? It seems to be building, not diminishing, but getting bigger. Where is this going?
Yeah, I think we can expect this resistance, and the new chant of the Marxist left is resist, with their fist raised in the air. And really all you have to do, Perry, is follow the money. These groups are very, very well funded, primarily from a foreigner by the name of George Soros. And I find it odd, and I find it completely hypocritical that the left is so concerned with the foreigner named Putin interfering on our elections, but they never talk about George Soros. Why? Because he is a primary funder of the DNC, and all of the coalition, like these groups that they put together, which are violent in tactic, as well as very loud. And once we cut off this funding or freeze his assets that flow freely into this country into 200 different non-governmental organizations, 501c3s and C4s, I think we're going to see this resistance build and grow more, loud and more violent.
Okay, sooner or later, law has to prevail.
Correct.
And the argument will be when federal law preempts state law. As you know, California, Governor Brown's declaring it a sanctuary state. Our Governor Brown in Oregon is declaring us a sanctuary state. Sooner or later, the feds have to stop it and say, oh, no, you don't. Where do you think that's going to go?
Well, again, law and order is the primary objective that was promised by the Trump campaign, and through many executive actions, he's established himself as the law and order president. And the law doesn't sit well with the left, as we see from the actions of Jerry Brown. Currently, before he makes California a sanctuary state, there are 35 sanctuary cities. And in the budget, in the California budget, 2015-16 budget, $67 billion budget, 20%, they believe 15 to 20% of that budget is spent on illegal immigrants. So do the math. That's about $20 billion. Now, what could $20 billion afford the kids, the citizens of California? A better education, the dam that's breaking in Northern California. He's completely ignored infrastructure while they've completely harbored illegal immigrants as well as criminal illegal immigrants, because the second highest cost to California of that 20% of the budget is incarceration.
All right, so the movement that put President Trump into office is still very much alive and well, and it's a movement that said we do want law and order, we do want a moral base to return to our culture, we do want things to be made sensible and political correctness to go out the door, but now we're being challenged at every level and intimidated and bullied to shut up. This thing's going to collide somewhere down the road. I don't know where and when. Some have said it may be a new civil war. Others are saying, no, it's an American revolution. What do you think?
I think it's the latter. And when you look at how the Democrats doubled down on the far left philosophy, they denied Bernie Sanders the nomination and actually rigged the election because they thought they had all of the corruption and collusion of voter fraud, et cetera, in the bag for Hillary Clinton, where she would skate in to the presidency. And thank God for the Electoral College, we proved them otherwise. What you see is a rising of Trump supporters that have crossed over from the Democrat Party. So the Democrat Party is very fractured right now. We will have to see if the likes of Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders can carry the party in 2020. But I think that the violence and divisiveness and the obstruction by which the Democrats are practicing are actually going to hurt them in the long run. Once we establish law and order, once Jeff Sessions is fully committed and in place, as he has already passed and received and accepted the nomination for Attorney General, I think you're going to see a different mood in this country as federal enforcement, ICE agents, et cetera, conduct raids across many cities, as they have just done in Staten Island, Houston, California, and start rounding up many of these illegal immigrants who are activists for the Democrat Party, who are pushing illegal immigrant status as a norm and calling themselves citizens by where they are not citizens. And this really jeopardizes the fabric of our citizenry and our country.
We saw in Berkeley, Megan, where unbelievable destruction, but no arrest. And so if the local cities and communities aren't going to enforce the law, and you got a governor who's not going to enforce the law, that leaves the feds to enforce the law. And that's everything that nobody wants. What are we going to do?
Well, look, in Berkeley, you have a UC chancellor that is far left, Janet Napolitano. You have the Berkeley mayor, which is far left. And the left has now normalized violence by where they're calling rioters protesters. These people aren't protesters. They're not peacefully assembling. They're looking to cause violence and harm to either businesses or individuals, as we watched a Trump supporter beat unconscious at that riot, as well as a woman pepper sprayed while wearing a Trump hat talking to the press. So Ronald Reagan had a very good way of dealing with the violent left, and that was to call in the National Guard and take care of business according to law.
You think Trump will do that?
Yep.
Soon?
When need be.
Yeah, I mean, now that Sessions in there, I guess he can do it. So the withholding of federal funds to a sanctuary city, what does that do?
Well, it's a little bit complicated because to parse how you hold funds from these sanctuary cities is a little bit complicated because illegal immigrants are given a right to education. So, you know, those funds can't be withheld according to the Supreme Court, but there are other ways and other funding mechanisms by where you can withdraw the funds. And so he's going to have to kind of piecemeal how he withdraws the funds. It can't just be a blanket withdrawal. But there needs to be some hurt, specifically in the pocketbooks of these states that harbor criminal illegal immigrants. These sanctuary cities do not provide sanctuary to the citizens, nor do they provide sanctuary to the immigrants who came here seeking safety and security from war-torn countries and drug cartel countries. They are living in a fair zone, much like Chicago, where MS-13 gang members are running the city.
Okay, I'm going to run out of time here, but quickly, the president said now he's probably going to come out maybe with another executive order this week to coincide with what the Ninth Circuit has done to him. And I would imagine he's not going to press the Ninth Circuit anymore because he's got to get he's got to get a Supreme Court nominee on the bench quickly. So he's probably going to stay away from that. But he could come out with another executive order. What would be the difference between the one that got shot down and the one he wants to propose?
How it's written, and it probably will be a little bit more narrow in scope or a little bit more defined. And I say flood the left with executive orders to keep them tied up in the courts, make them on the defense on how to figure out the flurry as far as a shotgun method is concerned, as far as executive orders when it comes to our national safety and security. That is the primary duty and responsibility of our commander-in-chief, is to keep us safe from enemies, foreign and domestic. And there is no court or judge appointed or elected in the land that can supersede that presidential power when it comes to his constitutional duty.
All right, I got to keep it right there, but let me ask you this. He's going to have to stay there in the immigration issue as far as executive orders are concerned, because otherwise Congress is going to feel left out and he could get pushback there. But when it comes to national security, he seems to be on solid ground.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at who he's appointed so far, especially with General Mattis, Mad Dog, Mike Flynn, you know, we'll see how he does. Kelly, great choice. But he's aligned himself with the generals and the leadership that we need to fight Islamic terrorism, not climate change like we've been doing for the last 8 years, Islamic terrorism.
All right, ReaganBaby.com, and the new one is launched today. What time?
I don't know, probably this afternoon. I'm waiting to hear from my graphic designer.
Congratulations, look forward to it. And let's stay in touch. You're great. Have a great day, my friend.
Thanks, Barry. You too.
All right, God bless. All right, Megan Barth, and anyway, she heads up ReaganBaby.com. And you can go there now and see what's going on. There's a lot of information there. But give her a little time this afternoon when she'll launch the new version of ReaganBaby.com. All right, we'll see you next time on Focus Today.